Hey y'all, it's Bailey with Reclaim Grays. I'm so very happy you clicked on this video. Today I have some thrift lip makeovers for y'all, continuing to use the new IOD Holiday release, and I love how every single one of them came out. Y'all let me know what y'all's favorite project is, and we're going to get started right now. We're starting off with our first set of projects, which are these thrifted tin Christmas canisters. I paid $1 for these, and I didn't realize that it had like nesting containers whenever I got it, so I got 3 of these for $1. I thought that was a good deal. I'm going to start off. I've already cleaned these one time, but I'm going to give them a good scuff sand with some 120 grit sandpaper. These are pretty slick, and I just want to give this project the best chance possible. I'm going to then come in and clean off all that sand and dust. Before we head outside and give these a good prime with this flat black enamel spray paint. I'm just going to do one light coat here. I'm not going to spray paint the inside of these canisters or the underneath of the canister lid. Those are in really good condition. I love working with this specific spray paint because it dries in 15 minutes and you can carry on with your project. So now our spray paint is good and dry, and I have this old Dixie Belle chalk paint in the color chocolate that I'm going to come in with a good little fluffy pouncing brush and do some pouncing up and down with this paint. I'm not going for full coverage. I really just want to hit the corners, the edges, and a little bit in the center of the canister as well. And I'm going to do the same thing with the lids. My goal for this is just to add a little bit of texture and maybe for it to look like rust when it comes through in a later step. I want to create vintage tins with a old chippy look. So the best way to do that is by using milk paint. This is Flour Sack by Sweet Pickins Milk Paint, and I'm going to mix up 3 scoops of the powder with 3 scoops of water. Mix that very well and set it to the side and let it thicken for a good 15 minutes. Here is how our tins are looking once that brown paint is dry. And here is how our milk paint is looking after it's thickened up a little bit. So we're going to go ahead and apply this first coat. And remember, the first coat is always going to be a little scary. Just get it on and we will dry it with a heat gun. If you really want to get the crackle and chippiness when using milk paint, that is my biggest tip, is drying in between coats with a heat gun. Make sure you keep it moving, and before you apply your second coat, since we're working on metal tins here, you need to let it dry because that metal, cool down, not dry. That metal needs to cool down before you come in and apply the second coat. So here we are moving on to that second coat, and the coverage is already a lot better. I did go ahead and apply 3 good coats to these tins. I picked out 3 different transfers to go on the front of our tins, and these are coming from the new Winter Botanalist transfer book. Y'all, this one is full of birds, and I just really, really love birds. So I picked out the ones that I felt like are going to fit the project the best, and I decided to cut that little piece off, and we're going to pull off that protective backing, get this placed right, and then we're going to press that transfer down. It has a slight tack on the back of it, and we're going to start burnishing with that little transfer tool. I like to rub all over at first and then just pick a side and start lifting and rubbing at the same time. Your transfers will bend around corners. Just take your time and slowly go around that corner, and this is coming off beautifully. I did forget to mention, before applying these transfers, I did clear, applied a spray clear coat to these and let that clear coat fully dry. When applying transfers to milk paint, it's probably just best to go ahead and put a clear coat on it so we don't mess up our transfers and they stick properly. I decided to add this cute little corner design to the largest canister lid, adding a pop of that design up top. One of my favorite things about transfers is you can really customize them by cutting them up and just filling in areas with little bits and bobs pieces like I am doing to this design right here. It's just make it your own where no one is going to have the same design as you, and I just love that about transfers. So here is our canister so far, and I'm going to come in with Sweet Pickins Dark Oil Wax and seal up these canisters. Now we had already sealed in that milk paint, but our transfers need to be sealed as well. Now this does look a little scary going on, but it will not be scary once you wipe it back. I just simply dump it on the project and spread it around with a disposable chip brush in a nice even manner. I will let it soak in for about 10 minutes and then I'll come in with a blue shop towel and wipe off any excess oil. Be sure as you're wiping off the oil, you look for fingerprints because your fingerprints will show up. So just make sure you're holding with a towel and wiping with the other towel so you don't get any fingerprints up there. And I love how this dark oil wax really emphasizes those crackles and crazings. It's just my favorite part. I absolutely love how these turned out. Just the perfect amount of crackle and chippiness. Y'all let me know what y'all think about this project. I'm going to price the set for $35, I think, or maybe $40. What do y'all think about this project? Here is our next set of projects, these little wooden plaques. They have this paper design on them, and it's just a gamble if you don't remove the paper. So I was going to see how easy it is to remove with this little scraping tool, and that just wasn't easy. So I went and sanded that paper off. And now we're going to come in with a all-in-one fusion paint. This is in the color Raw Silk. It's one of my favorite white colors. And we're going to put a couple coats on the center of our wooden plaques. Once that paint was dry, we're going to dive back into this transfer set again. It has some pretty cute little designs that are going to fit perfectly on these plaques. Now, I want to crease these with my fingernail, so I have a cutting line to follow with my scissors. I only want the transfer to be on the white painted surface. So an easy way to cut these to fit is to crease with your fingernail. That is my favorite method to use. And we're going to get these applied down. Now, I did lightly distress these after that white paint was dry. And we're going to remove that protective backing and get this stuck down into place and use our little transfer tool here and rub all over. Pick an edge and start lifting and rubbing at the same time. And I decided to fill in this one a little bit also with just some cut off random pieces. And I'm going to do the same thing to our other little plaque as well. Wanted to hop in here for just a second and let y'all know that YouTube invited me to turn on my memberships. So I have created 2 different levels of channel memberships if y'all are interested. One is called Rescued and the other is called Restored. Both of them have awesome perks, and that link is down in my description box. A few example of some perks is free shipping codes, some freebies of some craft stash extra, some member only videos of what is selling in my booth each month and what it is actually selling for, some member shout outs, and a whole bunch of other good stuff. I will have that linked down in my description box right below my website link. Don't feel like you have to do this or anything. It was just a way for y'all to show a little bit of extra support if you wanted to, but you can always support me by just watching this video, liking it, commenting, and subscribing. Those are absolutely free. I appreciate y'all's support and however you show it so very much. So let's get back to this project. I have done an important step, which was clear these transfers with 2 coats of polyacrylic matte. You have to do that before coming in with this fine line 2-part crackle or your transfer will crack. So once that clear coat was good and dry, I applied component 1, let that dry, and now I'm applying component 2. With the with the component 2, it's a little bit more runnier, so be careful. Watch it for a little while to make sure you do not have any runs and drips. And then once that is dry, we're going to bring out that awesome crackle that it's created with some fusion agent wax. You really got to push this down into the crackle. I did it a few different times until I like the way it looks. And I'm also going to take this wax and go around that wood surface and give that wood a nice little drink as well. Now, when it came to the ribbon, I didn't really have the color I wanted. I would have loved to put red velvet ribbon up here, but I had this blue color that looked good on one of them, and I had this green velvet that didn't really match either one of them. So I felt like the best option that I had was this gold velvet ribbon, so I just cut off a piece and tied that around. I may swap this out once I get some red velvet ribbon. Other than that, these projects are done. I think they're super cute. It was a super easy project. I'm sorry, y'all, my throat's messed up. But what do y'all think about this one? I love how they came out. I'll probably price them for around $12 a piece. Our next thrifted makeover is this wooden tray I thrifted for $175. We're going to start by taking off any stickers. I had a couple on the back too I needed to remove, and we're going to paint the center and inside sides of the tray. I'm not going for full coverage here, so I'm only going to do 1 coat, and I'm going to let my paintbrush skip over some of that wood grain to let a little bit of it peek back through. I was inspired to layer my stamps today by Myra from Farm Fresh 59. She sent me a picture of a project the other day, and I said, I have to try that. I do not do much layering with my stamps, but it's very simple. So I'm laying out my design first using the Autumn Blessing stamp, and I need to figure out placement. Now, this banner design I want to be up top, so that's what I need to stamp first. I'm going to use my black permanent IOD ink to ink up the back of that stamp, clean up any rogue ink, and then I'm going to get this placed down, hold with one hand, lightly tickle with the other, and then you can kind of peek underneath it and make sure your impression is good. I'm going to heat set this ink to make sure it is good and dry before coming in with the included mask. Now, these come with every new IOD stamp set book. You got to make sure you put it the right way, like make sure it's positioned like it's supposed to. And then we're going to ink up our pumpkin. Now, make sure your mask is still in place, and then we're going to hover that pumpkin design where we want it, fully commit, and start pressing the back of the thin mount. Make sure you press extra good around the mask, because sometimes that uneven surface will make it where you don't get a good impression around or meeting up to the mask. So we're going to lift straight up, and I love how that came out. Thank you, Myra, so much for inspiring me to create this project. I'm going to continue inking up my other designs and get them down, and I'm always cleaning my stamps before putting them up. Then I took the apothecary letters and I inked up the word thankful. IOD is so smart. I'm sure they created this banner in this specific size so you could use their smaller letters in that stamp set. So I put the word thankful in there because I am very thankful these days. And then I'm moving on to the rest of the tray. I saved this part for last because I wasn't quite sure what I wanted to do. But I decided to water down or heavily mist the surface and then just apply a thin coat of this terracotta color by Fusion, so there you still see that wood grain coming through. So I'm just going to do one even coat. Roscoe's dreaming beside me, so you probably hear his little dream roughs. And now we're going to clear that white section. The outer section has a clear coat, so we just need to clear this chalk paint. The ink is permanent, so we just need to clear the chalk paint. And I'm using the Sweet Pickins top coat in the matte sheen. This is a true matte color, and I love it. And this is also available on my website now. And next, I'm going to come in with a product I haven't used in a while. This is Paint Couture Van Dyke Brown Antique and Glaze. And I'm going to go in mainly on the edges and corners and along that inside side with this. And then I'm going to come in with a baby wipe and wipe off any excess and kind of blend that in a bit. Now, of course, this step is optional, but I love adding a little age to my products and my projects, So I'm going to do the same thing also to the outside and underside of this tray. And that wraps up this project. I love how this one came out. I love it so much. It's just so simple. I love the just white and black look with that pop of orange. I'm going to put this in my booth for $23. What do y'all think about this project? Roscoe just woke up from his nap and he wanted to say hello. He thanks y'all for spending your time with us today. We appreciate y'all being here so very much. If you got any inspiration from this video, hit the like button, leave us a comment down below with your favorite project, and consider subscribing if you have not already. We just surpassed the 12,000 subscriber mark. Yay! I have a goal of reaching 15,000 before Christmas. So if y'all want to give me an early Christmas present, hit that subscribe button if you have not already. I will talk to y'all in the comments. And remember, if you need any IOD products or Sweet Pickins milk paint, that is now live on my website, and that is linked down in the description box. Y'all have a good day. Bye.